I think the education is not just for the 2 to 21-year-olds, but I think the education has to be lifelong education, and I think it has to be relevant to the benefit of the citizens. I also think that this is a really good opportunity for us to think about the ageing population and how we could reopen a conversation and not think of the ageing population as a burden to society and cost to society, but as a huge opportunity going forward. And I think that re-educating the ageing population and reusing people in the workplace, in society, and instead of having workplaces that we go to, we have contributions to society and the economy. I think that shift in thought process will serve us well going forward. I also think that we need to embrace technology much more than we are. Artificial intelligence, robotics, they're all in a place near you. They are not very far away. And I think that there's a little bit of overprotectiveness about jobs, and particularly in some of the sectors, people are saying, oh, no, we can't have robotics because we've got a big industrial market to serve and workforce to serve. I think, why not use robotics? Why have somebody who is running up scaffolding or using a crane in the construction industry unsafe? Actually, why not have robotics, and why not train that person who's got 40 years in the industry to do something else and to contribute again? I don't see that that's losing jobs. I see that as being much more positive in the way that we can contribute to society. And thirdly, the other point is about livability. So I like the phrase livability so much more than I like the phrase sustainability, because I think livability resonates with the here and the now. Livability is something that if I asked everybody in this room what they thought about the term livability, and do you think Hong Kong is a livable city, you would have an opinion. If I asked you, do you think it's a sustainable city or a sustainable economy, you would give me a long Nobel prize-winning lecture on the basis. I think livability is important, but also remember, livability is not static. What we want, how we want to live, and how we want to spend our spare time is going to change, and will always change. It's not like in our parents' day or our grandparents' days. So I think that what we need to do is embrace and celebrate the fact that in the Bay Area, we are very diverse communities. We have diverse culture, we have diverse heritage, and we have different things to contribute. So let's not make it a homogeneous, one big Silicon Valley type of space at the southern part of Guangdong. Let's make it a very vibrant, livable city with its individual components. And Hong Kong, as a city, it's not a country, as a city, Hong Kong can play its very important part, and I think it has the energy to play a very significant role through embracing technology and new ways of working, through using innovation to work more smartly and to live more smartly and to have different working arrangements. It can also be part of this digital revolution, not a problem, but let's not forget that we also want to embrace other aspects of our culture. It's not only about digital, it's not only about robotics. Let's encourage entrepreneurs again, and let's really get on board that One Belt, One Road train. Let's identify opportunities, act on them, be brave, be bold.
So Hong Kong should play the role of, again, the gateway of China to the world. Okay, it's not just the West, unfortunately, well, fortunately, I should say. It's more than just the West, but including all the Belt and Road countries. But we need to change. I mean, I think it was sometimes these changes are consciously or unconsciously, but if you look at the past, but we need to change if we want to help these Chinese communities going out. You know, Belt and Road is one of the things I think Hong Kong has not been paying enough attention to. And then we also need to understand where our customers are. Our customers are not those people living in the ASEAN countries or the Middle East. Our customers are companies in Chengdu, in Chongqing, who are trying to get out and invest in Myanmar and Pakistan for that matter. So I think we need to do our sales right. We need to go and do a roadshow, tell these people that what we're good at, our professional service, our financial. I mean, quite frankly, I think we are still a bit away from being an international financial center because, as I said, we were pretty good at doing IPOs. But what about fixed income? What about infrastructure investment? What about the others? And also, if you look at the Hong Kong stock market, there's not a lot of international companies being listed here compared with, say, London and New York. So we are maybe the best, well, the most welcomed place for Chinese companies. But what about the rest? So I think there's still a long way we need to do before we say we are the third or the one of the international financial centers, and that is really getting global. Okay, and also another thing I think would be very interesting, and also could be the marking of the new the next transition is the Bay Area. Exactly, I think one of the good things about the Bay Area, besides being a brand, is really it's aimed at creating it's actually one of the best ecosystem if you think about it. San Francisco doesn't have a stock market. Okay, New York doesn't have such a large manufacturing base as we do. Okay, and then if you look at the 3 container terminals we have in the Bay Areas, they are ranked number 3, number 5, and number 6. Okay, we have the biggest logistic power in the world. So really, we have a very big ecosystem in the building, and if we play it right, it will become, very, very robust, very, very strong. But the thing is, we have to change our mindset. For the first mindset is instead of thinking I'm a Hong Konger, saying I'm a Bay Area person. Okay, if you look at an ecosystem, I always said the bacteria and the worms are as important as the flowers. Okay, so you can't just say I want to be the flower and forget about the worms, forget about the soil, forget about no, everyone is as important. And if Hong Kong wants to maintain its importance, we need to embrace the Bay Area. We need to say, okay, we're part of the ecosystem. I have finance, I have IP right protection, I have rule of law, and I also have a lot of international links. But I need your R&D, I need your technology, I need your manufacturing capacity, and also maybe I can leverage you. Instead of using my very expensive logistic powers, I can use your logistics as well. So it's only then you will become an important part of the Bay Area, and then you will still have a role to play.
Still, I think there's a very powerfully unresolved issue. There are a very large number of people living in Hong Kong who are still extraordinarily reluctant to grasp the opportunities that sit there and which ought to be part of our natural future. Perhaps that's an issue that needs to be addressed much more forcefully.
What we like very much is that Hong Kong starts moving into the direction of having more regulation. Regulation was always seen before in Hong Kong as kind of a witch's brew or an evil, but there's something called smart regulation. Without regulation and enforcement, you won't get things done that needs to be done in terms of cleaning up your environment. It's not good enough to just have the right statements and we are embracing this and that, and we are cleaning up, and everybody has to do his shares. You have to have regulation in this, and in the environment. All we can say, our main topic is Hong Kong's building code is 30 years old. You cannot work with this building code anymore. Nobody will build more sustainable housing, and unless he's basically regulated to do so. Just one example, 70% of our pollution comes from the cooling of our buildings. This could be cut into half if we would have the right sustainability requirements. This also will create more local innovations, and Hong Kong should be a leader in innovations. At the moment, it is a laggard in innovation. And we open up for all this, doesn't mean increased prices or increased regulation. It just I think we think it's for the good of all of us. A few words on this fintech. Fintech is another area of our concern in the financial sector. It's good that it comes up and Hong Kong embracing it. But for example, there is currently no regulatory framework in place for the adoption of crowdfunding in Hong Kong, a method that's highly popular in the United States and Europe through websites like Kickstarter, where public funds ideas and the companies behind them in order to bring products to market that may otherwise not have been done so. And this is despite there being increased competition from mainland Chinese companies in the emerging fintech market. And I don't know whether we don't want to mention Singapore, but in this case, yes. They have embraced it better. They also have, I think, the advantage of having a economic development board, which mandates, I don't know if it's officially, but at least it's a practice, that a small amount of money has to be invested in Singaporean startup companies. We have a lot of money here in Hong Kong, no doubt. It can be also done something, but it's against the usual laissez-faire and promoting certain industries. But sometimes in this particular situation, I think it's worthwhile to look at that. We should support our startups and not just think we have done enough by putting up good property, things like Science Park, Cyberport, and so on. It needs more than that to attract these guys here, get the right talent in it, and helping them to get going.
中国的上海、北京，尤其上海，都在定位卓越的全球城市。那么香港显然不应该再是亚洲的商业都会了。如果那样的话，可能就自己就把自己的定位定低了。